Sometimes life goes a little off course. That's why you need a podcast host that can go a little off topic. This is the podcast that will give you straight talk about everything life throws at you. Welcome to another episode of Off Topic with Tom Powell. And here he is. This is Tom Powell.
How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you? I didn't realize you were going to be coming to me from the den.
Yeah.
One of the most
cave. Loud and proud.
Yeah, one of the most famous rooms on the interwebs.
Oh, whatever.
First of all, it's cool looking. Second of all, millions of people see it. Third, it's got the word vagina in it. So I mean,
it's a winner. Winner.
What is there now?
I'm so sad I wasn't able to come when you guys went out with Heather for her birthday. I was so triple, quadruple booked. I was like, I can't do everything. And so unfortunately that dinner was one of them. And so hopefully we could do that again sometime.
Another time, another place. I mean,
yeah.
It's all good. We'll figure out it. That's the beautiful part about living in the same area. We can still hook up. It's not like you came into town and we missed you.
Yeah, exactly.
As a matter of fact, Renee said to me, well, you scheduled this thing right during the middle of family time? I go, I don't even know if she's in town. She's got this huge tour. I mean, I don't know. She could be talking to me from Buffalo for all I know.
No, I leave tomorrow. So you got me on a good day. I try to make sure that these podcasts are done at home just because I want to be here in my comfort zone. Yeah. And I don't want to have to worry about, is it going to connect? Is the hotel Wi-Fi crappy? Can they hear me? Can they not? At least here, I know everything works appropriately. And if I need to switch out a crown, I can, versus on the road, I have to use what I have. And sometimes I don't feel like that crown,
Yeah, we're going to talk about the crowns in a minute, but this is not even close to having anything to do with you, but I know, generally speaking, where you live, are the cicadas nuts by you?
I have had a migraine for the past 3 days because of how loud they are.
God, it's so incessant.
Loud. Yeah. I don't do they necessarily have to scream while they're mating? Nobody else screams when they're mating. We don't, I don't understand why they have to do that.
I mean, occasionally we do. It depends on if you get something. You get something in the wrong place, you never know. But yeah, I mean, we've been here for 20 years, and the last time around they weren't this close to the house, but we live close to some woods. And this year they're all over the backyard. Yeah. And you take the dog out or you go to get the mail, and it's just incessant, and it's driving me nuts. I got the house closed up, I got the air conditioning on, and you can still hear these little shits.
Yeah, no, the only time I can't hear them is when I'm in my vagina cave, which is in the basement, luckily. So I can't so I've been trying to make sure I do a lot of work during the day so that I don't get too overwhelmed with the noise. But when it's the weekend, we're out, we're about, we got baseball games, we got hanging out in people's backyards, we got this and that, and I can't constantly be laying down with my massage eye mask because I have a migraine because of these fuckers,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Can you just die already?
Exactly. We're getting there, but good Lord, it is taking its sweet time.
Oh, for sure.
I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I'm sure that some of these have been asked, by somebody else at some point in time, but the things that are on my mind. But the first thing I want to say is I'm sure you get this a lot, but when I started watching you, obviously on TikTok, you're on all the platforms, but I first found you on TikTok. For the longest time, I thought that's how you talk.
No.
And then I saw, I think you did an interview, or you might have done a serious video, and you spoke the way that you normally speak. And I looked at my wife and I went, she goes, did you think that that's how she actually spoke? She goes, no, she's imitating her mom. And I went, are you kidding me?
No.
How does your mom take that imitation?
She has no idea. She has no idea what's going on because English is a second language for her. So she knows I'm mimicking her. But when I speak English with South Asian people, where English is not a first language for them, I heavily speak with the accent just because it helps with the translation. Like they understand the English words better. And so she's heard me do it so much that it's like not a big deal. And it's just funny because I don't like there's a lot of things like my whole thing is whenever I mimic my mom, it's if she had the vocabulary that I had growing up in here in America versus in India, this is how she would say things because I know how she would react. And so, and because it was social media, I was always the person, the mom behind the camera. I never was in front of the camera. I was always like, no, I'll take the pictures and post them. And I only use Facebook to either post silly memes or post pictures of my kids so that my mom in Connecticut could see, right? So it was never like I never intended to be in the front of the camera. I was like fine in the back. And then COVID hit and I don't know what got into me, but one of my friends pushed me to do it and she regrets it to this day, but it is what it is. And she just kept she was like, yeah, you should, because every time my mom would visit here, like she would come here for a couple of weeks in the summer to help take care of the boys. And then I would have all of these stories because you know what it is. It does not matter if you're white, brown, olive colored, whatever color you are, but if you have a boomer parent, there are so many things that you're just like, how did I survive this and turn out a better person? Like, how am I doing better with my kids? Like even till this day, like she came for when I had my hysterectomy in January, and the things that she was saying, I was like, oh my God, can you stop talking right now? You were making me dumber. That is what's happening.
Don't talk to any of the hospital staff. Don't talk to my doctor. Don't talk to the nurses. It does. I'll tell you something. It translates because like I love my mother-in-law to death.
Yeah.
She lives in the near west suburbs or the far west suburbs, I guess you would say. It's on near Roselle in that area. Mm-hmm. I love my mother-in-law to death, and my wife and her sister have a close relationship with her, and the kids have a close relationship with her. They watch her videos and they see how it translates right into her mom and right into the things that she does and she says just with an accent.
Yeah.
And it really, one of the things that I get asked all the time is how do you get so many followers? And I'm like, I have no idea. I press the button and I say what's on my mind. Yeah. And you being real and joking the way that we joke in life, making fun of our moms and telling those stories is what people gravitate to.
Yeah.
You just do it in such a manner because of the accent and because of like I had an immigrant grandfather. He immigrated from Sicily when he was a young man. So there are aspects about him that when you start touching on your mom, I'm like, oh yeah. I can hit on all of those with some members of my family. So it's very real. It very is real.
And I mean, I didn't realize how much people resonated with that until I started that first tour. And people at the meet and greet would be like, oh my God, my mom's the same way. And I'm like, oh, this is deeper than just a South Asian mom. That's when I kind of like I knew, but I wasn't like too nosy or too into my friends' relationships with their parents. I just picked up the relationship with the friends when at where we were at. So if it was like one of my kids' friends' moms, we didn't go backwards in time, right? I didn't like, oh, I didn't deep dive. I'm not their therapist. And there would be trickles of things here and there, like, oh, my mom did this or my mom did that. So, but this was like so many more people, right? Like in real life IRL, I have maybe like a handful of people that I can stand. And so when you talk about like all of these other people now coming in from the world, it's just like, who are you guys and how, like, of course they're out there, right? You can't expect them not to be out there with 8 billion people on Earth. But I was like, I was so much in a bubble that it never occurred to me. And every time I let my personality out, it was very like, it would either make or break a friendship. And so I'm always, to this day, I'm very like guarded. And when I meet new people, I'm very polite, prim and proper. Like you don't get the real me until we like go out and have drinks or something, and so to start doing that with outside of those constraints that I've always had, and to start making the content and start blasting and dummy shaming and all that stuff, I was like, I mean, people like it, so I'll just keep doing it. And I'm just saying what everybody's thinking anyways. And so here we go.
With that, I know I experienced this, but when you started to take off and the following started to grow, and people start in an area where we live, there's over 9 million people here. Right. And so a lot of them are on these social media platforms. I'm standing in line at JC Penney getting a pair of shoes, and somebody behind me is like, "Oh, you're that guy from TikTok." So when you get recognized, which I'm sure happens a lot, especially in the early part when it started to blow up, how embarrassed did you make your kids? Come on.
Well, for some reason, it always happened when they weren't with me.
They weren't with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be like, I would go to the local Walmart or the local Sam's or Caputo's or whatever, just go grocery shopping, minding my own business, or even go to my P.O. box with a mask on. And as soon as I would start talking, this was before the pink hair, before all of that. As soon as I would start talking either to, the employee or the cash, wherever, people would like, I had that happen at the post office. I go to my P.O. box, I had the mask on, doing what I'm told I'm supposed to do, don't say anything, right? I'm in line, and as soon as it's my turn, I say hello, and this lady was polite enough to wait until I was done, and she was like, "Oh my God, are you that lady?" And in the beginning, Tom, I used to deny it. I'd be like, "No." And then I would just look at them to see if they were ballsy enough to keep going, and then I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And then now, fast forward 4 years later, now they don't even get it out. And I'm like, "Yes, I am. How are you?" Like, I will be whoever they want me to be. If they think I'm Beyonce, I am Beyonce. I will be your Beyonce. Now I don't care.
Would I get recognized a lot of times? Renee is with me because we do a lot of stuff together, and so she just kind of like that cartoon of Homer Simpson backing off into the shrub. That's what she does. She disappears into the ethos, and she's like, I don't quite know what to do. But when it comes to our 23-year-old, she's in the dating scene. She's 23. And everything's on an app, and she'll meet some guy on an app, and they'll be talking for a couple of days, and he'll be like, "Oh, you got to see this TikTok of this guy that I follow," and they'll send them my TikTok. And she's like, "All right, that's it. That's done.
Yeah,
I can't do this."
No, my younger son loves it. He loves it when I get recognized in the wild. He tries to get into all the pictures, and I'm like, "Bro, you got to stay over there with Dad." Like, we have a system, right? Like, my husband takes the kids that way, I take the person this way, I do what I need to do. Because let's face it, if it wasn't for our followers, we wouldn't be where we are today, right? And so if I don't like say hi to them, or I don't even offer, do you, I don't know, it's weird, but do you want a picture? I don't know why you would want a picture with me, but do you want one? Like, because no one's going to believe it that you met me, right? Like, for some reason, these people think we're celebrities, and I'm like, we're not actually celebrities. We're just regular people who just happen to make you laugh. I mean, I'll take it, but let's not compare us to influencers or like A-list celebrities,
You had an office job before this, right?
Yeah.
And that's, people are like, "Oh my God, you're Tom Powell." Like, they run into me, like you said. I shop at the Walmart up in Shorewood, Illinois, just up on Route 59. And somebody will come up to me and go, "Oh, you're Tom Powell. Oh my God, you're Tom Powell. Can I shake your hand?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but you understand, like, I'm here in fucking slides and gym shorts getting milk and bread."
Yeah.
The way I glamorous about it.
Yeah, no, the way I look on social media is exactly how I look when I go out, which is probably why I get recognized more times than not. Like, I don't use filters. I don't use voice. Like, I don't change anything. And I'm like, if you like this, great. If you don't, that's fine. There's 8 billion people on this earth, right? Like, I could just get some other people that are the same as me. I don't really care. My older son, him being in high school, it was a lot of like, how's it going? Are the teachers treating you fairly? Because I don't want, like, my biggest fear for him was always that a video I make that they don't like, now they take it out on him, right? Like, treat him unfairly, even though he's a good kid, gets his homework done, gets great grades, he behaves really well. He's an amazing child, but that, how people are, they're just assholes sometimes.
Yep.
And so I've done a lot of like check-ins with him, my older son, more than my younger son. And his friends are hilarious. Like, they would see whenever I can go to school function things, because I was heavily involved in school, PTA, all that. And then the touring started. So now I had to, take a step back. Dad's more involved now. And so this past year, his senior year, I was able to do more things because I wasn't as inundated with shows. And so they would be like, oh my God, is it the Pinky Patel? And I'm like, all right, fuck you. Okay. And they were just like, oh my God, did you just say that to me? I'm like, yeah, if you're going to roast me, I'm going to fucking roast you back. Like, I don't care that you're 2 feet taller than me. Okay. Like, I don't care. It's hilarious. Like one of his friends, I didn't even know this. Like, and in the fall, like the high schoolers have all the football games, right? And I would go support all the kids that I know. My older son would be there and whatever. I would hang out with the moms. He hangs out with his friends. And then we would go out to get drinks after the moms, right? Like because I don't get to see my friends that much now.
Yeah.
And so I come home and he's like in the backyard having a bonfire with all of his friends. And I just go to say hi and good night because I was going to pass out like drunk and high, Tom. So drunk and high. And I go up there and one of the kids is freaking out. Like he's literally, and I look at my son like, yo, bro, what's wrong with him? Why is he freaking out? Does he need an EpiPen? Like now I'm in mom mode. And then my son's like, no, he's fangirling right now because he loves your videos. I was like, oh my God, he should not be watching my videos. My videos are for 18-year-olds and up. Like, I get it, you guys are seniors, but come on now. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
And so I know it was, and then I just kept going, right? Because and then I started yelling at the kid. I was like, bro, you just ruined my buzz. Like, I thought you were dying right now. And then he starts laughing. And then one of the girls, there were two girls in the circle, and one of them, I heard her. She was like, "Oh my God, Robbie's like his mom is so cool," and I was like, "Yes, winning!"
Yep. And so like the girls, when I started, the girls were older, so Maggie was like already out of the house, and Lily was away at a boarding school, but wrapping up high school. So the only one that's really getting the bulk of it. My daughter gets the guys, on the dating app, but my son is the one that's going to get the bulk of it. Few of his teachers know who I am.
Yeah.
He had my fucking name. He's Tom Powell.
Yeah.
And he no longer, he's 12, going to be 13 this year. So he's no longer going by Tommy anywhere he goes. He introduces himself as Tom.
Yeah, he's grown man.
And so I'm like, okay, man, that introducing yourself as Tom Powell in this area is gonna some people are gonna raise some eyes. Oh, you're that asshole, son.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So do that with a bit of caution. You say how you look is how you when you go out is how you look online is how you look when you go out. You wear the crown?
No, not the crown. I can't take those out of the vagina cave. What if I lose a jewel? Now I gotta be on the floor of Walmart looking for a jewel so I can glue it back on? That's ridiculous. You don't understand. I baby these things. Even though they're less than $20, I'm gonna make them last me 20 years, Tom. $1 for every year I've had them. That is my money's worth.
So my wife's sister, she passed away a little over a year ago. She always wanted tiaras. Everybody bought her tiaras. She always wanted a crown. And when you came along and you had the whole crown thing going on, and especially being from the area, oh my God, it was crowns. Yeah. Did you see? Yeah. She would come over for an event. Did you see Pinky's new crown? No, I didn't see Pinky's new crown. You want to show me Pinky's new crown?
I still have it. The thing that you and your wife sent me, I have it in my van, and it's just hanging there. And everybody's like, this is for your purse. I was like, no, if I put it on my purse, it's gonna get ruined, and I don't want it to get ruined because even if the jewel falls off of that crown, I will glue it back on. Okay.
So how did you? I'm sure you've answered this question. How did the whole crown thing start, though?
I stitched that guy with he was asking why women run to the restroom after doing the nasty, and I was like, oh really? We know what this is. This is for views, right? And so I decided to pick the honest route because he was playing dumb, and it's like, all right, you can't be that stupid. And so I just read him the riot act. This is why. Okay, you're acting like you're falling asleep during this whole situation. It's easy for you. You just pump, dump, and slump. Meanwhile, we got a whole shower we have to take care of. Okay, and then at the end, I had this little tiara like this big. You know the ones you get at Claire's for prom and shit.
Yeah.
I had it for my reception, and I was like, okay, fine. I'll just slip this in. And I said, don't learn about sex from pornos. And I put it in so smooth. And people lost their minds. It was the first video ever that went viral, above 1 million views. We were all shocked. We were like, how did this happen? I was just telling you my truth. which apparently is every female's truth in the whole entire world. And then people were just like in the comments, like, girl, you need a better crown, you need a bigger crown. And then that following week I got 4 in my inbox, and I to this day I don't wear them because I don't want to break them. Like I don't want to ruin them. So they're sitting in the back, they have a protected spot, like don't touch these 4. They will never leave this room because they are the original 4 that I got.
and then that little bit of boomer parent that raised you comes out of you. You turn to your kids and go, one day these will all be yours. And they're like,
no, they got to get their own. No, they got to get their own.
You're taking them with you.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell them to put it in my casket when they cremate me and burn all the crowns with me. That's what's gonna happen.
I told my wife I'm getting buried with that damn guitar, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah, there you go. You got to take the things you love the most. You can't take people, so I'll take things.
Unfortunately, I have to have my father in one arm and a couple of pets in the other arm, because I've just got boxes of ashes all over the place from the various pets, all the different fucking dogs that we've had over
there. We go.
And then my dad, and then my mother-in-law has my sister-in-law who passed away, and then my mother-in-law told my wife, "I want to be cremated," and my wife goes, "So what am I going to do with your ashes and Michelle's ashes?" She's like, "Oh, we'll just get buried with you." And my wife's like, "Okay, so that's been decided for me. I'm getting buried with my mom and my sister."
One big happy family.
Yeah, it's gonna be all of us just holding on to boxes of ash.
There we go.
Okay, so you slip the crown in. I've always wondered this part. What about the lip gloss?
That is a nervous tick. So,
okay.
So when I started making content, I would make the content while I was processing things for work, because I'm an IT Indian, so I did a lot of IT stuff, like a lot of Excel coding, like formulas and all that stuff. Making things smart. I was in charge of process improvement where I was, and training. So training on the software that we had, because I was a subject matter expert. And so when I wasn't training, I was, creating a lot of templates and all that stuff. So if something was processing on the side, I would just be scrolling on TikTok. And then because I'm a fidgeter, I just kind of picked up the chapstick. I was like, oh, my lips look dry. And then I just started, and I just kept doing it because it was a nervous tick, trying to get my nerves out of seeing myself and making sure I don't say something stupid. Because my whole thing is I like to just do a one and done. I don't like to retape, because then the authenticity is gone and it doesn't feel as genuine. And so I was constantly just like, like I said, one and done. So then, and my husband also, he's like, for so many years, Tom, he's like, you have dry lips, you need to, here's chapstick. Like he would always give me chapstick to put on, like his chapstick, because he always had chapstick. And then when I was at my desk here, I was like, oh yeah, my lips do feel dry. So I would just put it on while I'm doing the video, and then it just became a part of it. And like the microphone happened because people were bitching that they couldn't hear me. And so I was like, well, what can I do to make them hear me? And I was like, oh, this is cute. This is a little microphone. It kind of goes, with my nails, and it looks cute, whatever. And, they say in order for your video to be successful, you have to grab their attention in the first 3 seconds. Yep. So I was like, perfect. Between the crown, the mini mic, and the chapstick, I think I got it.
Well, and then you throw in "hello, my friends."
Yeah, and it's just... exactly. And that's how my mom says, like, whenever she asks me how my friends are here, she's like, "Oh, Bingo, how are your friends doing?" Like she inverts P's and F's and V's. Like they always change them around, right? Like it's not vegetables, it's wedgie-tables. And I'm like, oh my God, it's not wedgie-tables. Why are you saying that? Like it's not, so it's something that she does, and when it matters, like I know I recently made a video putting somebody in their place about mispronouncing something important. And somebody in the comments on Instagram was like, yeah, well, you can't even say friends right. And I was like, I'm not even gonna give this the time of day, because saying a silly word incorrect is funny, like prens or microwave or gay raj instead of like that's funny. But saying something that has a bigger meaning and a bigger say it right. Come on, Google is free. Like whenever I do something that's important, like whenever I'm making cameos, I make sure that if I can't pronounce their name, I always type it in Google and I tell it to tell me how to pronounce it, because that is your name. Your name is your identity. And for people to fuck it up, that's disrespectful. So I was like, I'm not even going to give you the time of day. You clearly are new here. And I couldn't pin your comment on Instagram and let my followers take care of you. But I feel like you're just coming from a place of you don't know what you're doing, and you're just trying to defend this makeup artist that you think is hot shit and all that. And it's like, no, she's literally just shit. That's what that is. Like, come on. Like, it is what it is, you know?
Okay. So I told you that I thought that's how you spoke.
Yeah.
And then once I found out that it was this caricature of somebody that you love, and I keep watching these videos and listen to it. I tend to, you get something stuck in your head, and then you find yourself repeating it. And I think I drove my wife to the verge of divorce by walking around the house saying, "Hello, my prince. Okay, bye." If I was on the phone with somebody, I would end the conversation with, "Okay, bye."
Okay, bye.
And she's like, "Would you fucking stop doing that?"
Yeah, no, but here's the thing. If you listen to any South Asian speaking on the phone,
yes,
because we don't know, we get really awkward when we have to say goodbye, like at parties and like in person and on the phone. South Asians are so awkward when we have to say goodbye. It's just this really like awkward, okay, bye, and then we hang up. Like that's what everybody does it. So for me, it was not anything different, right? It was just me bringing to attention like what my world is like. I mean, I do make those videos still, like I'll do the Usha advice, right? Because people like that. But I'm like, no, I mean, the words are mine. I'm just saying it in her voice. So why? And there are people who come and they're like, oh, well, I miss the accent. I don't like this anymore. I'm like, well, there's the door. You
right,
could
yeah,
your racist self and leave. Like, you only liked me because you thought my accent was funny, but you
yeah.
weren't listening to the words I was saying. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so what do you do when you call IT and they are speaking with a heavy Indian accent? What do you do then? Do you not
They
listen to them?
they probably laugh at them.
Right. And it's like,
Yeah,
no, that's disrespectful. Like, I'm not, like, I will pick and choose when I use the accent. And I was using the accent in the beginning because it was helping me be comfortable in front of the camera.
you got to
Outside of
find.
that,
Yeah, you got to find what makes you comfortable, and if that's what made you comfortable, then
yeah.
and I think that talking about your family also made you comfortable, from what I can tell. Because, listen, first of all, the fact that you call your kids roommates
Yeah.
is absolutely like the number of people I know that refer to people that live in their house now as roommates. Or, in this house, we've taken to the term downstairs kitty cat. I mean, that's just like,
Yeah. Alternate, like, because we, when, like I said, when I was learning social media, right, I learned it with everybody else during COVID. Like, I wasn't a heavy user, not being a content creator, and I was like, well, there are words that you can and can't say, so how do I say them in a different way
yeah,
that my mom probably would say because she doesn't understand English, right? And so it just kind of, it was a culmination of things. And there are people who, and I say this in my show all the time. I'm like, if you see me in the wild, don't be scared to approach me. However, approach me with caution, like a wild animal, because I don't know who you are, and I'm very aware of stranger danger now that I travel a lot. And
oh yeah,
also start your sentence off with hello, my friend, so I know how you know me, right? Because when I'm out and about in town, I like when someone says hi to me, I'm like, oh, that was roommate number two's fifth grade teacher, right?
yeah,
Like I know where I know them from. But if you're just come at me, like, and I get this, like now that summer is starting, all the suburbs are doing like the music in the park thing, right? We do it every Thursday. And the handful of times I've gone these past 2 years without me even posting it on social media, because I was taking the stance of, well, I'll post after I leave, right? So that way I
yeah.
don't get like bombarded. There would be people coming up to me and they're just saying hi, and I'm just like, and now I've gotten to, and I was just talking to my friends about this on our walk the other day. Like I can't have RBF anymore, because then people just think I'm just mean or I'm ignoring them. And I'm like, it happened to me, prime example, last Tuesday when I went to go drop my mom off at O'Hare. It was raining, cats and dogs, like it was so much rain, right? And I'm dropping her off, and she had gotten emotional about something. So we were obviously fighting because she's a boomer, and I'm like, I'm not dealing with this shit. And we're at Terminal 5, which has all this construction. all this traffic, and I'm trying to navigate where I have to drop her off because I go to Midway because of Southwest. I hardly
Right.
ever go here. And this woman, she passes me, and my motto is, if you recognize me, but if you don't come up to me, I'm not going to insert myself in your business. Like, that's your business until you make it my business, right?
Okay.
And so she's talking to her daughter as they're going up the escalator, and I'm looking for signs of where to check my mom in at Delta. Like, I'm not familiar. And I'm also making sure she's not lost behind me because she's a slow walker, like all of these things, right? And I hear, and like, she's like, oh, I think that's the lady that says that, like, with the mini mic and a crown. Like, she's talking to her people, like the group that she's with, her daughter and some other people. And I just happen to hear this, but I'm, multitasking. And she's going up the escalator, and or the girl that she's with is like, oh, you should say hi. And this woman, no joke, Tom, she's like, yeah, but she ignored me, so I guess I'm not going to say hi. And I got really mad. I was like, bitch, I didn't ignore you. You didn't come up to me.
Right.
Like, if I had inserted myself in your conversation, you would have gotten mad. Like, why are you being nosy? Right? Like, no one likes it when you insert yourself into a stranger's conversation. Yet everybody talks on speakerphone. Everybody's watching their videos on full blast, right? So I'm trying to maintain my mental health, and I'm trying to maintain, this is my business, that's your business, until we make it both of our business. It's like, because you didn't want to come up to me, now so I can't even
If you
have.
want to say hi,
No,
just
she
say
could
hi.
have said hi. She could
Yeah.
have. It could have been a drive-by. I've gotten so many walk-bys where they were just like, oh my God, I love your videos. Thank you, girl. And then that's it, right? Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be something dramatic, but she wanted to make it dramatic by accusing me of ignoring her. And I was like, and I was in serious go mode, which must have meant I had RBF or something, which
Right.
now I can't even have RBF. It's like, what if my tummy is hurting? Okay.
So like I understand what you're saying about not inserting yourself. I try not to do that if somebody's like maybe talking about me, but I'm just this extreme extrovert and it drives Renee nuts
Oh,
because I literally will just spark up a conversation with whoever's at the next gas pump while we're waiting for our cars to fill up, or
yeah.
whoever's standing in line behind me at Jewel or Walmart. She's like, "Do you have to talk to everybody?" I'm like, "Fucking yes."
Yeah.
That's what I do. We were we were taking Tommy to drop him off at a friend's house earlier today, and there was a woman and a couple of kids on a golf cart that was pulled over by one of our cops. But the
Mhm.
cop was across the street, the golf cart was over here, and the cop was trying to get back over the street. So I stopped, let the cop go, and as he was walking, getting past us, and we were pulling past him, I rolled the window down and I just jokingly said, "Lock them all up, just lock them all up." And Renee's like, "Do you have to talk to everybody?" We drop Tommy off. We get back home. We're sitting down. We're just kind of killing some time. And I open my emails, and it's that cop. And he goes, "Hey, I recognize you when you stop to say hi. We're actually having a hard time getting people in our community to understand what the ordinance is behind the golf carts. Do you think that that's something that you could help us do? Help us attract a larger audience to help educate?" And I'm like, "Oh, all I did, I was just trying to be an asshole."
See, that's what happens. That's what happens. So I'm with your wife on this. You need to shut your mouth, Tom. All right, shut your mouth. Then you won't get extra work.
When Renee hears this episode,
Yeah,
she's at
she's
the
gonna
other end of
love
the
it.
house right now.
She's
She's gonna
gonna
be
send
like,
me
"Goddamn."
another. She's gonna send me another bauble for my other car. That's what she's gonna say. I'm just kidding.
She tells me all the time. So when I told her, I go, the cop emailed me. She goes, as we went back to pick Tommy up from the same place, she goes, as we got in the car, we pulled out of the neighborhood. She goes, "Now, do you think if you see a cop in the neighborhood, you could keep your fucking mouth shut this time?"
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I had that. I had a cop recognize me in Oklahoma City when I had shows there during my first tour, and it freaked me out because we were walking like to Bricktown, where all like the population, restaurants and all that, because we wanted to get dinner, and this cop just stops on the side of the road, and I was just like, oh my God, did we do something wrong? And he's like, oh my God, I love you, my wife loves you. I was like, oh geez, okay, all right. Like, this is weird. This is weird. I didn't even say anything. Like, what?
It is. It's because like everybody else, right? And I can count. I don't know how many people that did this. They were locked in the house during quarantine. They got bored. Everybody's talking about TikTok. So everybody got on TikTok, whether they made content or didn't make content. It got us all addicted. And those of us that just started fucking around and making content and shit blows up, everybody, like we said earlier in the thing, oh my God, you're so and so. Oh my God, you're so and so. No, dude, listen to me. Seriously, like I gotta go take a piss and get my bag from the carriage, and I'm sweating my ass off. I'm just another schmuck like you. It's nothing. It's nothing specific. Your tour. You said your first tour, so you're on another. You're getting ready to do another tour. Do you have openers?
Yeah, we usually I'm finishing up the last couple of shows for my second tour this June. And then I have July and August off because of family stuff, moving the kid to college, all that. And then we start the third tour in fall. And yeah, like I have openers that I have liked throughout, if I resonated with somebody, I would be like, hey girl, if you go to my tour dates, if there's one that you want to hit up, let me know. This is what I can offer. And so they will reach out to me. I have a few that travel with me because that's what they want to do. But they're also doing their own thing because they're also trying to, start headlining themselves, which as they should, right? And then if we can't get somebody, like if somebody that I know that I've worked with before, then we just get local openers, like whoever's locally there. If I'm here, my roommate number 3 opens for me when I'm in Chicago. So you guys don't have to come out to the show this time.
I do. I keep telling Renee, or I've told her before, we have to get out to see one of your shows, and she's always asking me when you're coming to town. And there used to be there was always something, but now everything has sort of died down. Lily's off. Lily's home now because it's summer, obviously, but she just wrapped up her freshman year at college and she's living in the city. Nice. So where's your kid going?
University of Illinois, Champaign.
Champaign. Okay, mine goes to UIC.
Okay.
And so she made it into a couple of different colleges, one in Iowa, a couple in Indiana. But she wanted to be able to get on the Metro and be home in like an hour and a half. And if she felt the urge to, and sleep in her own bed and with her cats and all of that good stuff. So she picked, we got 5 cats and she's the cat hoarder. And so with her being gone and Tommy's 12, but he has got to be the most low maintenance kid we've ever had in our entire lives.
Yeah.
He's not like, he's almost like he's being raised an only child. You know what I mean? Because Maggie's 23. He's 7 years younger than Lily, and Lily went away to a boarding school. Lily went to IMSA out in Aurora.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, she wasn't here. So her sophomore year was the first year of IMSA for her. Mm-hmm. And it was COVID. So she did her sophomore year from her bedroom.
Yeah, basically.
But then she was on campus for 2 years and then a year at UIC. So it's practically like she's gone at this point in time. So we're down to I would say we're down to 1 roommate, but you also label pets as roommates.
I label anything that's breathing in my home as a roommate.
Oh, okay. Well,
so yeah, roommate number 1 is my husband. Roommate number 2 is my 18-year-old, soon to be 18-year-old. Roommate number 3 is my 11-year-old. Roommate number 4 is my dog Nacho. Roommate number 5 is my father-in-law, and roommate number 6 is my mother-in-law.
Oh, so your in-laws live with you too? Okay.
Yes.
Isn't that always a joy? Because I had my father live with us the last 4 years of his life. This was actually his bedroom.
Oh, okay.
And Renee really did a lot because I had the landscape company, and so it's a small landscape company. It's me and 2 guys in a truck and a trailer.
Yeah, so you're busy.
If I'm not there, shit's not getting done. So she did so much. She did almost all of it. The doctor's appointments and the therapy and all of that stuff.
Yep.
It can be draining having your parents or your in-laws living with you. So God bless that you got 2 of them living with you.
Yeah, his mom and dad live with us, and then recently my mom had come for roommate number 2's graduation and his party, and I was like, never again are we gonna have both of the women in the same house. Like it's a very, like, you would think after 20 years that they would be over it, but the thing is they've never, like, whenever my mom would come, like, my in-laws were living at their own place downtown, and so maybe a couple of hours they would see each other right here and there, but this was like they were in each other's faces in front of each other all day, every day for 10 days. And I was just like, I'm done. I can't do this. Like my mom would, because I would wake up later because the kids don't have anything and my focus is the kids. Like I told my mother-in-law, I was like, listen, just like I'm taking care of my husband, you got to take care of your husband. Like you can't rely on us to take care of your husband. Like you're still alive. Like I will do as much as I can. Like I got you to this point when he moved in with us. It was an emergency. We had to like all hands on deck. We had to figure out his medication. We had to like I'm still the food Nazi. Like I have to watch what he eats. Otherwise, he's like a 3-year-old child and he will end up in a diabetic coma if no one's watching him. Like he just doesn't care, right? And I'm like, why do I care? Like, why do I care so much when your own son doesn't care? And it's like, there, he just doesn't have that much. I don't know what's going on.
What the hell happened?
I didn't touch anything.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no. Do we have to stop and start again?
Pinky is purple.
I am. And I'm fading fast. Is it my camera?
I don't know because I don't have it on my image in the corner. You right, my image is clear to you, right?
Yeah. Should I like get out and come back in?
Let's try that.
Let's try that. Let's reset. Hard reset. Did you try turning it on and off? What? BRB. Oh, here we go. I guess that worked.
I don't know what the hell that was all about.
I don't know. I
It's
don't know
weird
what
shit.
we're talking about. This happens all the time. Even when I do my podcast, like there's always some technical error, and I'm just like, I give up. If an Indian can't figure it out, who can? Like, like I just can't give up, man.
Come on, you can't say shit that I can't say, goddamn it.
There's a lot of things that you can say that I can't, okay? Because when I make fun of beige people and their food, I get trampled on half the time.
So that they see that shit right there, that realness that you talk about. I always thought that the stuff that you kind of like discussed and did the accents with like life with your in-laws, your mom being there for a period of time. I always thought that would translate well into a sitcom.
Yeah, probably.
Anybody reach out to you about something like that yet?
No. Well, the thing is, I don't really like, because on social media I don't talk about my personal life.
Okay.
And so it's really hard. And like I have on Instagram stories shared here and there. Like in the beginning, I used to heavily put stickers on the kids' faces, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what me and my husband had decided. And then, I did that Tamron Hall thing, and they were the compromise was because I had asked him, I was like, can you blur their faces out? And because we didn't want them, it's like national TV, right? Like you want to be a little bit safe still. And they were like, well, it's a Mother's Day episode. I was like, okay, well, you could use their faces, but you can't have their names. And so I was like, that's the compromise. You either have their names or you have their image. Like you can't have both. Like I'm working with you, so you need to work with me, right?
Yep.
And so since then, like, and I told my husband, I was like, they're gonna put their faces on national TV. Are you okay with that? And he's like, I mean, just make sure it's good pictures. I was like, okay, fine. Because and he knew, he was like, we'll see how it goes, we'll see how far it goes, and then we'll adjust as we need to, but I only do that, like I started feeling comfortable after the Tamron Hall thing, and I only do it when I post on my stories. Like if I'm gonna put their picture on my feed on Instagram, then I put stickers on their faces, like outside of the app. I don't do anything in the app except posting, and so I'll put stickers on their faces then. However, my older son, he's going to be 18 in a few, like on the 20th. So it's like, all right, I mean, you're done. You're an adult now. Like, if you still want me to cover your face, I will. His friends know. right? There's a lot of teachers at school that like faculty knows. Same with my younger son, but for my younger son, he enjoys this too much. Like he thinks we are on this journey, and I'm like, no, mama is on this journey. Mama did this. Mama is on this journey.
He's going around telling people, "Have you seen our TikTok?"
Yeah, no, he goes crazy. Like he loves it when I want to make videos with him, right? Like when I made a couple of those like Dusty Sun videos, like teaching him, like, but the compromise again was, well, you got to have a crown on and you have to have your face covered somehow. So either with a mask and then sunnies so they can't really see your face, because I don't want, like, you could be in the video. I don't mind their voice being in the video, but I just don't want their faces being in the video,
Totally understand.
Yeah.
Totally understand. I know a lot of people that do not want to show their kids. Renee has always said to me, if you feel like it's safe enough, then do what you feel is you got to do. And has anybody like, I don't even know if it's the right term to use, but like, has anybody like tried to dox you?
No.
No.
If
Okay.
they have, it wasn't on my radar. If they have,
Right. See,
I
that's like,
mean, I haven't, the only way I would know is if people tag me, right? And so luckily, I don't have any wood that I can knock on here. So if you do, please knock on it for me. But my experience so far has been like 95% positive and only
good.
3 to 5% negative on social media. And I don't know if it's because I don't entertain it. Like if someone does leave it, I either leave a nasty comment, I will delete it. I know in the beginning there was this one person, because of the bindi, right? He was like, "Oh my God, I love the fact that you gave me a target to point my gun at." And I was like,
Oh,
I'm not going to let this stand. So then I made a video, right? And that's where I flipped the script and I started off as my mom and I finished as me. And people lost their shit in that video. They were like, "Oh my God," like, because up until that point, I was always my mom, right?
right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so then when I did that, they were just like, even Nicole, the one that lives near here, near Rosemont here, Mama
Okay.
Horsetails, I think that's her name.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like even she was like, "This is spectacular." Like because like there's a time and a place, like I'm not gonna defend myself to every single hater because that's exhausting. And I don't believe in the whole there's no such thing as bad publicity. I'm like, no, there actually is. Like you can make people lose faith in you because of the things that you do. People that maybe had to look up to you because they didn't have people in their life to look up to, or they didn't have a support system that they felt that they resonated with. And now you just, whatever you did, whatever you said, however you did it, however you said it, you now made these people not want to come back and view your videos because of whatever you did, right? And I'm like, I there is such a thing as bad publicity. And yes, does it get you more followers? It could, because
Mhm.
we know a lot of people follow you because they want to see the train wreck, right? They want to
Yep.
see that moment when you do get busted or when you do get canceled, right? And I'm just like, I'm not going to give you the time of day. Whatever I'm saying that I'm not saying incorrectly, you just might not like it because I'm being stern and I'm speaking the truth, but that's not my problem. Your feelings are yours to handle, not mine to handle for you, right? Like I've had to
Man.
rep parents like at my shows or even outside when like they're bringing their kids and I'm like, "Bro, you didn't like watch my content to know that maybe my show is not where you should bring a 10-year-old? Like, did you
Right.
think I was going to do daddy jokes on stage for 60 minutes? Like, get out of here, man." And then and I don't let it hinder me. I just full steam ahead. I'm like, "Well, you're going to get a sex education course right now. That's what's going to happen." Like you're the moron that brought your child, okay? Like I can't do anything about that. Like you need to, like, it's too easy to research what type of entertainment you're going to put in front of your children for you to not do that as a responsible parent, right? Like when my
You're
kid asks me, "Oh mom, I want to go see this movie." What do you think I do? I go onto imdb.com and I'm looking up the movie and I'm making sure that it's appropriate for him, because I don't care that it's a PG-13 rating and he's about to be 13. I want to know what kind of content, like what's in the movie, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that's my job as a parent. That's not Mad Max Furiosa's job as a movie.
Right. We got the codes on everything, the TVs, the phone, all the different, whatever, the streaming services. You can't just go in and rent a movie. There's a code you got to punch in.
Yeah,
And we're the only ones that know that code. If we get hit by a bus, then nobody's watching a movie this goddamn.
Exactly. But you get what I'm saying? Like they don't do their research. They don't, and then they just bring, and even I've had my fifth graders classmates. They're like, "Oh my God, I watch your videos." I'm like, "You should not be watching my videos. You should be asking your mom if you could watch my videos." Like, what? No, like the fact that you're saying this to me and you're proud that you're watching my videos. And like my son doesn't, my fifth grader would say nothing because he knows how I feel about this. I'm like, the reason you don't have a phone is because you don't need it. And you already watch TikToks on YouTube. Okay. Like,
right.
That's the compromise right there.
YouTube. They are so into YouTube.
Yeah. They like watching other people play video games.
It's weird. Like, so my 12-year-old, when he was much younger and he would have some YouTube time, it was like kids getting toys sent to them and then they go play with these toys. And it's like, well, do you want that toy? I'll give you that toy. Then you could play with that toy. No, I'll just watch him play with the toy. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Go outside and break something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It get dirty or something,
Yeah. It drives me crazy. It's like, why don't you play the video game instead of watching him play the video game?
Exactly. And it's such a leap from Gen X to, my youngest is a Gen Alpha, and it's like, that is such
Alpha. He's an Alpha. Their names are Alpha. Zoomers and Alphanauts.
I got one of a few, Pinky. I got a millennial, a couple of Gen Zers, and then him.
Yeah. You got millennials, Zoomers, and Alphanauts.
Yeah.
You got the gambit right there, all of it.
I do. Well, ever since we found that other daughter through the DNA testing.
Oh my God, yeah. That was wild. How did that even happen?
Well, they had taken so my grandfather immigrated from Sicily when he was a young boy.
Right.
Everybody else in my family is essentially a mutt. So whenever anybody asks me, what are you? I instinctively say Italian. Mm-hmm. And my wife goes, okay, but you're not Italian. Your grandfather was Italian, which at best makes you, whatever, 10% Italian, whatever. So she wanted to do DNA tests to fuck with me to see how Italian I am. So I bought 2 DNA tests from 23andMe, and we both did them. And if somebody else does a 23andMe test and their DNA is in the system and it matches yours, the website tells you have relatives. And so you wind up with 1,400 sixth cousins, 5 times removed. And if anybody's really, really close, they put them at the top of the list. And so there were 2 names at the top of my list. One is a first cousin I never knew existed because my grandfather on my mother's side, the Sicilian immigrant, he actually had a wife before my grandmother that I wasn't aware of.
Crazy.
Yeah, and so I've got a first cousin living in the city of Chicago that I've never met.
Oh my God.
But the one at the very top, it was a girl and it said 50% DNA, daughter. And I was like, so I call Renee and I go, so I got my DNA results back and it says that there's somebody out there that has a 50% match as my DNA. And Renee's initial thought was that my dad fucked around on my mom because he was one of those guys. My dad was 27 and my mom was 16 when they had me.
Oh God.
And he was a professional drag racer.
Oh God.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a maniac.
So Renee says to me, "Oh my God, your dad fucked around. You have a brother or you have a sister out there." And I went, "No, it says it's my daughter." And that because we had been together for so long, next question was obviously, "And how old is this child, motherfucker?"
Yeah, Tommy. Yeah, Tommy.
Yeah, so I was 17 when she was born. I didn't know she existed. I hooked up with her mom at a party. Her mom hooked up with another guy the following week, thought it was that guy, put him on the birth certificate. He was never in my daughter's life. And the mom is literally, Pinky, literally certifiably insane, like squatting in hotels, insane, right?
That's crazy.
So I'm on this app and I'm looking at her profile. It doesn't have a picture of her or anything like that. And I reached out to her and I said, the app says that I'm your dad. And the first time I spoke to her, she told me that when I sent that message, she immediately called her husband and said, "Hey, you know that fucking guy from Chicago on TikTok that we follow? Anyway, yeah. And she goes, that's my dad. They had been following me for 7 months
Nice.
before.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's how that whole thing unfolded. And so we went from having 3 kids to having 4 kids, a son-in-law, and 2 grandchildren overnight.
Oh my God, that's spectacular. This was a feel-good story. It worked out in the end. But as you
Yeah.
was talking, I was reminded of the documentary that was on Netflix where the guy was where they like all of these people in the town or like in a 10 or 20 mile radius were doing this like ancestry thing, 23andMe, whatever. And it comes to find out that the doctor who inseminated all of these women used his sperm because he thought it would be better than using the dad's sperm.
No
And
shit.
yeah, you need to watch it. I think it's on Netflix. And so this woman, it is on Netflix. This woman found out that she had all of these half brothers and sisters around her in like this however many mile radius, and it just kept getting insane and more insane. There was like 100 and something of them that he did this 100 and something times, this doctor. And I was like, how did he not get his license pulled like after this documentary? Like, what the hell? I thought that's where it was going. I was worried.
Yeah, how did he not get dehydrated? That's a lot.
I don't know. He was saving up. He was saving his boys. That's what he was doing.
Promise me we're going to get together at some point in time.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to. Yeah.
I know you're going out on tour, but after the tour and when you have
No,
a chance.
I'm home July and August. So
Okay.
I'll hit up because I was talking to Heather and Nicole, and they're coming to ladies' night this week. I think, well, Heather is. So I'll talk to Heather because I was like, we need to get together now that I'm not going crazy with everything. Now that it's like calmed down a little bit before the crazy starts again. So
Well,
yeah.
listen,
Sure.
you dodged a bullet by not going out for tacos with us because none of us like those tacos.
I mean, well, I thought you guys went to Bennigan's.
Oh, that was the night you were supposed to go with us, the Bennigans. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went out to Elgin to Bennigans. Yeah.
The last standing one.
That was Renee and that was our first date, was Bennigans over in Schaumburg by the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bennigans and the first Austin Powers movie.
Nice.
I'm a romantic, I'm a classic. Yeah. I'm a general.
Classy. Who doesn't like janky British teeth,
You know what I'm talking about? A little sexual innuendo.
Yeah.
Right after dinner. I mean, Pinky, thank you so much. I'm sorry to take you from your family for so long.
Oh, you're fine.
We'll definitely get together. We'll get together. And yeah, I'm mutuals with Mama Horsetails as well.
Yeah, we'll get together, all of us. I think she was supposed to come out that day too to Bennigan's, but she couldn't because of something. And so I'll kind of get it going again and see.
You got it.
Summertime, we don't have to worry about school and all that BS.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom. This was fun.
Yes, indeed. And it's going to be funner when we're talking in person.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
All right. Hey, good luck on the tour.
Thank you. I hope you get to make it when I come back to Chicago. I think I'll be here spring of next year just because I was here fall of last year. They wait 18 months before I can go back to a city. That's like the norm. And so okay. I'll probably be here spring. I don't know where, but they're figuring that out now.
So, absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah. We're going to have fun.
Talk to you, Tiki.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, bye.